sei dizer, tudo é novo pra mim. Meu coração se renova. Sinto a esperança invadir o meu ser. Quero ser manso, ser limpo, ser justo e pobre de espírito ser. Tua palavra me sonda, me conta do reino que espera por mim. Eu te ofereço meu pranto, as dores da alma que quer renascer. Eu ouvi
Saudações, evangelizadores do mundo.
Greetings to the gospel of the world, from the simplest one that practices the gospel at home, preparing the future of our living Christianity. All of you who are with us this afternoon, preparing us for the knowledge and the support that we seek in order to understand the lessons of Jesus Christ. God has roads where the world has no ways. This is a sentence from Mei. Welcome to the first world meeting of Jesus' friends with Chico Xavier and his legacy, and the 14th national meeting of the friends with Chico Xavier. Today is the 8th and last day of the meeting with our dear brother Carlos Baccelli, with the topic Christ the Comforter. Carlos Baccelli is from Uberaba. He's a dentist and a public servant of the Brazilian Post Office. He's been cooperating with Casa Espírita Bittencourt Sampaio for 50 years. Baccelli idealized and founded many spiritist groups in Uberaba. He has also published more than 205 spiritist books. As a speaker, he travels to Brazil and Europe, spreading the good news. At present, he's director to a spiritist group that fosters elderly people, and where he maintains his activities of psychography on Saturdays and Sundays, meeting hundreds of people that look for consolation and clarification for those who passed away. He also is a host to some radio shows through Rádio Boa Nova de Guarulhos in São Paulo, and also the show Mediumship Today. We greet him with happiness, and let's involve him in a blue light under Maria de Nazaré. We would like to thank the interpreter, Katia Morgado, who's here interpreting and giving the message in English. Therefore, thank you once again. We'll start with the prayer of the day. Dear Lord, help me understand that good work is waiting for me everywhere. Don't allow me to waste time with useless questions. May your mercy remind me that I'm still evolving together with my fellows, but not in an attempt to correct them, but to focus on my own development instead. Lead me to respect other people's rights, so my rights can be preserved. Make me aware of where I belong, so I do not demand from life what does not belong to me. Don't let me dream with accomplishments that do not correspond to my resources. However, may your kindness give me strength to execute the small actions that are within my reach. Delete my personal resentments so that I do not become a burden for my brothers and sisters, to whom I owe coexistence and cooperation. Help me recognize that fatigue and difficulty should not transform me into someone intractable, but show me, with your mercy, how much good I can do, using patience and courage above any trials that may hurt my soul. Give me strength to spread the peace and the love that you have taught to us. And above all, dear Lord, forgive my weaknesses and support my faith, so I can always be with you, serving others. May it be so. Thank you, God. Dear friend Baccelli, the floor is yours.
Você só tirar do mute aí, Baccelli.
Please unmute yourself, Baccelli.
Ok.
Okay,
Bem, inicialmente, nós
well,
queremos falar
at first,
nossa
I would like to
alegria
talk
e
about
da nossa emoção
how happy
por
and
estarmos
glad I am
participando desse
to be
14º
part of
encontro
this 14th
dos amigos
meeting
de Jesus
of
Cristo
Jesus'
Chico
friends
Xavier
with Chico
e sua
Xavier
obra
and his
Spiritizmas,
legacy.
e ao mesmo tempo desse primeiro
And at the same time,
encontro
it's
mundial
the first world meeting
desses amigos
of those friends
de Jesus Cristo na obra mediúnica de Chico Xavier.
with Chico Xavier's legacy.
Queremos cumprimentar os coordenadores,
We want to greet
os
the coordinators,
coordenadores
the ones
desse encontro,
in charge of this meeting,
e agradecer
and
profundamente aí o
thank
pessoal
them
do Vivência Espírita,
deeply, especially the channel Vivência Espírita,
esse suporte
that
extraordinário.
this year gave such an extraordinary support.
Sabemos que no próximo ano a TV Saber
We know
Espiritismo
that next year, TV Saber Espiritismo in Belo Horizonte, with our dear Geraldinho, will also give us such support to continue this online meeting until the time comes for us to meet in person. We also would like to thank all of those taking parts in the meeting, all the speakers, those who have been here and shared knowledge and gave testimonials, most of them very happy and very rich in what they said. Well, this afternoon, we would like to highlight the topic that's the comforter. The idea is not to approach the topic affirming that Spiritism is the promised comforter. When we think about this topic, the comforter, we think about highlighting the book, The Comforter, by Emmanuel, psychographed by Chico Xavier. It's an extraordinary book, and it should be studied, discussed, and known. The book is from 1940. So for 81 years, this book is edited by the Brazilian Spiritist Federation. And I've been supporting this doctrine for approximately 52 years now. And just a few references have been here about this book. This by the speakers or directors of Spiritist groups. Few references have been given about this extraordinary book. And it was written in the same way as the codification of the Spiritist doctrine. These begin with the Book of the Spirits in the format of questions and answers, except for the Gospel according to Spiritism. But the Book of Spirits was written like that, as a dialogue between incarnated and disincarnated, the question and answer format. And the Book of Mediums was, in a certain way, same as the book Heaven and Hell. Together with the Genesis, many questions were asked to the spirits, and they were answered through many mediums. The books of the Spiritist Review, founded in 1958, such dialogues were constant and frequent. This dialogue is like an invention of the Greeks, like Socrates. The book, The Comforter, was written like that, same as the Book of Spirits. So questions were made to Emmanuel, one of the spirits that belonged to the group of the Spirit of Truth. They were part of the group of the Spirit of Truth. Those questions addressed to Emmanuel, they were answered by him about most different topics and subjects. But Emmanuel, together with Chico Xavier, he represented the thoughts of Christ. So from his own, aka Emmanuel, that means God with us. Emmanuel did not personify anyone. So those who think that he was personifying someone else are not right. He was an entity, but not. So Father Manuel da Nóbrega represented one of Emmanuel's existences on earth, and Emmanuel became a medium for Christ. One of the books of Dr. Inácio Ferreira has this title, Emmanuel, the Medium of Christ. Anyone who wants to understand this mechanism, and we are not making any advertisement of the book because it has been launched a long time ago, but this should be, everybody should pay attention to that, the study made by Dr. Inácio Ferreira. If a living person can do that, someone disincarnated should be doing that, in the words of Dr. Inácio Ferreira. And he carried out this study, and he showed really that the book is not by Emmanuel, as some people criticize. When they say that Emmanuel's work belongs to a single spirit, or it comes from a father, a priest. Those who say so are not aware about Emmanuel's role in spreading the gospel and during the colonization of Brazil, when he was here. Same as Paulo, when he reached for the Gentiles. Father Manuel da Nóbrega was inspired in Paul of Tarsus' life, spreading the gospel to the Gentiles. Emmanuel was the first preacher of the gospel and is considered the first writer of Brazil. This has an extraordinary meaning. Father Manuel da Nóbrega and his love for the Gentiles, in this case for the Indians that were considered wild, and he came to Brazil and building the spirit and taking part in the foundation of São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro, Salvador, like rising Brazil, growing Brazil. And as he said, through Neo Lúcio, Arthur Joviano too, it was necessary to build the spirit to the giant. So the book, The Comforter, shows Emmanuel's answers, and of course, it does not reflect only the thoughts of one spirit. Emmanuel had to sign the book. Someone had to be the author of the book. And so he did. On behalf of many other spirits, of course, in the same way that André Luiz was the author of his books, but also through spirits of a higher hierarchy. So we cannot assign to André Luiz only the knowledge, although he's been a very important scientist, Dr. Carlos Chagas. We cannot assign only to him the knowledge that he shared in the book, Nos Domínios da Mediunidade. We cannot assign only to André Luiz the huge knowledge in the book, Mecanismos da Mediunidade. Chico used to say in Uberaba to many friends in different occasions, he said that André Luiz was a medium to many spirits. And for sure, the same happened to Emmanuel. He was a medium to many spirits for the works he developed and performed. We can make reference to the book Paul and Stephen by Emmanuel. That's the author is Emmanuel. And once Chico Xavier said to some friends, also to Geraldinho, that Emmanuel, in that book, he was the interpreter of Paul himself. The book is like an autobiography for Paul of Tarsus. His life was used for Emmanuel, together with other spirits, to write about the primitive Christianity, about the first years of Christianity after Jesus' crucifixion. The home of the way, the works of the apostles, how they would sometimes have arguments, and how the gospel was spread to the Gentiles and why Paul was chosen for this purpose. Although his conditions and his limitations and difficulties. As a teacher of law, we can understand this as largely responsible for being one of the first persecutions to start against the primitive Christians. So we would like to say that the Comforter was written in the form of questions addressed to Emmanuel. The book gathers 411 questions and answers. And they were given 83 years after the codification of the Spiritist doctrine. So 83 years after the launch of the Book of Spirits. And the Comforter dates back to 1940 and written by Chico Xavier, but inspired by many spirits, including Emmanuel, in Pedro Leopoldo, March 8th, 1940. So 83 years after the Book of Spirits, the Comforter comes out as a clear reference to the Spiritism being the promised comforter. The books of Chico Xavier, all of them have been written unfolding the thoughts of the spirits during the codification of Allan Kardec. When we talk about the works of Chico Xavier, let's understand the works, the mediunic works of Chico Xavier. They are perfectly connected. The mediumship works of Chico Xavier, they complement the codification, they update the codification. Some spiritists would not like to admit that Chico Xavier legacy unfolds the codification, updates, why not to say makes it more modern, because maybe on an unconscious level, it was an instrument of, it might be understood as that the doctrine should be understood only as a 19th century doctrine. And because it's very dynamic, so it's as if they were refusing to understand that it's progressive, because Spiritism is not a static doctrine. It's the first one, let's say. It's the first doctrine with 3 aspects. We do not have any other doctrine spiritually speaking with this tribal aspect, tribal features. There are many religious philosophies, many of them. We could list Judaism, Islamism, even Hinduism, and on an early stage, we could give as an example Catholic religion, but something similar to Spiritism that has a rational faith. We don't have anything like that. Hinduism doesn't mention that. Buddhism doesn't mention rational faith. Islamism doesn't either, and neither does Judaism. None of them mention faith allied to reason. The only doctrine with these features is Spiritism, science, philosophy, and religion. Well, the time came that nowadays it might be understood when we say that Spiritism is a religion, because today religion is being rejected. All religions are being persecuted. The religions, they have a reason, but nowadays, when we talk about Spiritism and relate it to a religion, we mean that from an ethical aspect, it's a doctrine, because this is the reason for having science, is to improve mankind, to make men and women better human beings. So science, the purpose of science is not to make war, not to promote any world order, any supposed world new order. So what's the purpose of philosophy? So everything goes to the same point. Through knowledge, you can be free. So you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Spiritism is a doctrine of freedom. It frees us from orthodoxies. It's such a doctrine of freedom that it sets us free from Spiritism itself, because it helps us think universally. Spiritism doesn't fear science. It doesn't fear philosophy and its development. And it doesn't fear religion, because it's almost stopped and stuck in time and space. So the book, The Comforter, as an example, it approaches doctrinary topics. It touches upon subjects that are related to science, to philosophy, and to religion. So it's also a book with these triple features. In the first part, it talks about science, and Emmanuel answers questions about chemistry, physics, biology, psychology, sociology. After that, from fundamental science, it goes to abstract science, to specialized sciences, the combined sciences, applied sciences. Emmanuel answers questions in the field of science, and this was back in the 40s, 81 years ago, almost 1 century ago. Of course, Emmanuel had to answer according to the knowledge available at the time, same as the spirits did with Kardec. Many spiritists want the spirits to reveal it all in the Book of Spirits, but stop. They want them to share everything they had to say in the Book of the Spirits. So something's missing. Those people wanted that the Spirit should reveal everything about mediumship in the Book of Mediums. We should think better. They wish the spirits had said all that they had to say about the creation in the book of Genesis in 1968, when it was published and quickly organized. The spirits were talking to Allan Kardec, and let's finish that. But Kardec would say, no, take it easy. And they would say, don't go so fast. But please do it right now. No, it didn't happen like that. The codification of the Spiritist doctrine gave us the basic principles. So the book, The Comforter, in this book, Emmanuel, representing the thoughts of the higher spirits, we can say that this book should be deeply studied in the Spiritist groups, together with the Book of Spirits. The works of Chico Xavier should be studied together with the texts of the codification by Allan Kardec, because they were written for this purpose. Many people argue this, some because they envy Chico Xavier, some because they are ignorant, some of them, they want to be more important than the king, let's put it this way. So I've been seeing some comments that I would feel ashamed for those people. They don't have enough knowledge to say that. And please apologize. The codification has the basic principles, but the doctrine is dynamic and it's progressive. So we can take the Book of Spirits with all the respects and do the same as our Protestant fellows do with the Bible. And we would be limited to the Book of Spirits and carrying it around without accepting new things. Of course, everything has to be submitted to the analysis of the reason. But coming from Chico Xavier, a person whose life speaks for himself, he speaks through mediumship. His life, he lived his mediumship. The important thing is not the name of the spirit. What speaks for Chico Xavier is his life. If in the beginning the spirits confirmed the books of Chico Xavier, after that we can say that Chico Xavier confirmed the books of the spirits. Chico, who confirmed the work of Emmanuel, of André Luiz, he confirmed the work of Humberto de Campos. The books of those spirits who came hundreds of years ago and brought their testimonials of their how living in the afterlife. Chico Xavier would give us pages of consolation. Have you already read the more than 100 books from the 500 more? Well, almost 1/3 of the books of Chico Xavier contains the messages said as consolation message. They might have brought comfort to the families of the deceased people. A letter can be a comforter for a mother, a father, grandchildren. Yes, it is a comfortation in this sentence. They say, comforting letters. So, in my opinion, this is not good. Because in the case of Chico Xavier, these letters are much more than that. For example, the books Somos Seis. And let's read the testimonies of those who have passed away by the fire in the building Joelma. All those who have passed away in many different situations, and they were talking about their lives in the afterlife. And they opened it up more, how life is on the other side. So many people still do not accept that the books of Chico Xavier are complementary to the codification. They invent weird theories that some people say consider themselves as pure followers of Kardec. But they only read the Book of Spirits. But they cannot be said as pure followers of Kardec, when you talk about virtues, Christian virtues, there is something else I have to mention, that the books of Chico Xavier, same as Allan Kardec's books, the Book of Spirits, the Book of Mediums, the Gospel according to Spiritism, Kardec was persecuted by the Spiritists when he delivered the Gospel according to Spiritism. The Spirit of Truth tells Allan Kardec that if not by the difficulties that Kardec would have to face, and also the betrayals, he would have lived longer. But Kardec had such a difficult time, and the difficulties didn't come from the Catholics. They came from those said as Spiritists. And still today, some Spiritists consider themselves as teachers of law, but they do not have knowledge. And even they lack knowledge about the codification. I watch many lectures, and there are only a few referring to Kardec with enough knowledge. Only a few who mention Leon Denis and the classic books of the Spiritist doctrine. And let's see, in the first portion of the book, Emmanuel answers questions about science. In the second part, he answers questions about philosophy under a philosophical point of view. And on the third part, Emmanuel answers questions about the religious aspects of the doctrine. So if I say that Spiritism is a religion, some people would get goosebumps. But we do not have many words to make the difference between one thing and another. Is Spiritism a religion? It's a doctrine of moral consequences, as Kardec said, of religious consequences. Or as Emmanuel said in the introduction of Astral City, he says, in fact, we need spiritualism and spiritism, but we need spirituality. Emmanuel said that himself. We need spiritualism, we need spiritism, but above all, we need spirituality, because all the knowledge goes towards that, the need that we have to love each other. It's not because of lack of knowledge that the world is like it is now. It's due to lack of fraternity, lack of love. It's for lack of knowledge of fraternity, and not for lack of theoretical knowledge of everything, because we have a lot of knowledge, but it's because of the lack of practicing what's good. So in this extraordinary group of books written by Chico Xavier, we chose for this first world meeting of Jesus' friends with Chico Xavier and his legacy, and the 14th national meeting. So it exists now for 14 years, and for those who are not in Brazil, ever since the first meeting, we've been persecuted. So it's been 14 years that even the Spiritists are trying to end up the meeting. Just 14 years. When the first meeting of Jesus' friends with Chico Xavier, some people said, Why don't you do the same with Ivone Pereira? Why don't you do that of someone else's friends? Well, just do it. The more meetings, the better. The more we study, the better. The books of Ivone Pereira are extraordinary, fantastic, they're fabulous. Ivone Pereira has accomplished an extraordinary task. But many people say we idolize Chico Xavier. We don't do that. That's not our purpose. Not to do that with Chico or Allan Kardec. The works do not belong to Kardec. It comes from the spirits. Kardec organized it. He was very intelligent, very capable. Indeed, yes. But this is different. The books do not belong to Kardec. And that's why when we say it's Spiritism of Kardec, it does not show the reality. Spiritism is just Spiritism. It's a group of laws that have been revealed, and they are divine laws revealed in the first chapter of the Genesis, the initiative of the spirits, and this is what makes Spiritism what it is, a set of divine laws. They have been revealed upon initiative of the spirits, but it was the result of a man's work. The mediums that helped Allan Kardec with that, they worked a lot. They gave their important contribution to that. So during our meeting, I would like to say that Spiritism has to be studied. Otherwise, it will remain as a great unknown. But is Spiritism a science? Yes, it has a scientific aspect, but it has to progress. Where are the researches, the studies that are being performed by the Spiritists? Researches about reincarnation, mediumship, the afterlife, spiritual body. Where are those researches? Are we, the Spiritists, helping Spiritism develop in the field of science? We have a couple of physicians, some people studying that we respect a lot about the human body and how it works with mediumship. Some books are being published based on those topics, but there are only a few researches, just a few. Like Dr. Hernan Guimarães Andrade have delivered some research about reincarnation. They study that deeply. Spiritism needs to advance not only in this field, but in the other fields, as philosophy. Dr. Inácio Ferreira says we need Spiritist thinkers. Everybody wants to be a medium. So let's forget a bit about mediumship. Let's foster the creation of Spiritist thinkers that can write based on their intuitions, that can channel knowledge and publish their works, their books. It's not necessary to receive the messages from the spirits that sometimes are boring with little content, meaningful content. We need to study Spiritism. Allan Kardec said, Spiritism is the science of infinity. So this is the best definition that I've ever heard. It's the science of the infinite. And we're thinking limitedly. If we don't move, nothing will happen. One of my books, The Comforter, is falling apart. And I was asked if this was changed. So this is also happening. People have been changing the books of Chico Xavier. Some people think they have the conditions to change those books. So why these people don't understand that they are almost committing a crime? If they cannot write like a manual, they change the books. They cannot be Chico Xavier, and they start changing the books of Chico Xavier. So Brazilian Spiritist Federation has to grow. If not, they'd better shut their doors. Not only that, no federation makes any difference to Spiritism. Nobody can make a difference to Spiritism itself, but to the Spiritist movement, there might be a difference. Our time is finishing, so again, warm wishes and my thanks to these precious people here in São José dos Campos. Rodrigo, Carlinhos, Jorge, Kátia. I know she's doing a lot of effort interpreting us into English with our terrible Portuguese. Thank you. And let us work together with TV Saber Espiritismo, with our dear Geraldinho. He's a great friend of the Spiritist doctrine. So next year, we can keep up with this great meeting. May Jesus help and protect all of you always.
Nós agradecemos ao nosso querido Carlos Baccelli.
Thank you, Carlos Baccelli, for so much knowledge shared with us this afternoon. It was a wonderful lecture. And now we wish to thank all the people today. We would like to thank the interpreter, Kátia Morgado, that was interpreting Baccelli. We also thank our technical teams in all the countries that are helping us broadcasting this event. Portugal, Lithuania, Romania, England, United States, Ireland, Switzerland, Germany, and United Kingdom. Rodrigo just told me. Thank you to the technical team. Rodrigo has done a great job so that we could do what we did. Thanks to all the participants, giving the best vibrations and feelings, and the cleaning made by the spiritual teams that helped us during the event. Now, Rodrigo will give us some information. Thank you, Carlinhos. Thank you, Baccelli. He's a great friend of ours. It's so good to see you again. In the name of Channel Vivência Espírita, we've been broadcasting live all the events of the meetings of Jesus Friends with Chico Xavier. It's a great pleasure for us, in name of the channel, to work and serve Jesus, spreading the Spiritist doctrine and broadcasting the books of Chico Xavier. And this is the main objective of this meeting. It's an example for those who say it's impossible to make a free event. It is possible. We are in our 14th edition, so it has always been free, and it always will be free for all those who want to take part. So yes, it is possible. We can do that. And we will always be ready to support TV Saber Espiritismo very gladly. And it will be nice to pass this on to them. And I would like to thank and comment. Just a second. Thank you to all the supporters of our meeting. Without the support, the event would not be possible. So all the radios that broadcasted us live, TV Saber Espiritismo, Recanto da Prece, from Campo Grande, Mato Grosso do Sul, Centro Espírita Amor e Caridade, Rede Doutrina, em Rio de Janeiro, Sementes de Amor, em Mato Grosso, Portal da Luz from Dourados, Rádio Espaço Espírita, from Barra Velha, em Santa Catarina, Rádio São Francisco, Projeto Saber e Mudar, Centro Espírita Caridade e Caminho, Aliança Coromandel Espírita, TV Chico Xavier, Porto da Paz, TV Espírita Nosso Lar. We also count on the participation of Sintonia Maior, also Rádio Espírita do Paraná, Caridade e Caminho, Grupo Espírita Miramês, and Portal Despertar of Nuno and Carla supporting us, TV IDEAC, also helping us with broadcasting. In North America, we had Kardec Radio in the United States, Science Spirituality, also in the United States, JAC from Canada, in Europe, Recanto da Prece Chico Xavier in Portugal, Associação Espírita Discípulos de Jesus in England, British Union of Spiritist Societies, in Ireland, Irish Spiritist Federation in Lithuania, Spiritizmas. I hope the pronunciation is correct, and sorry if it's not. Spiritizmas. Lituvier. In Lithuania. In Germany, we had the support of Cantinho do Chico Xavier and also NEECC in Switzerland. In Japan, also in South America, Uruguay Radio and TV Esperança, helping us broadcasting. As supporter, Rádio Vivência Espírita, Fundação Cultural Chico Xavier em Pedro Leopoldo, Vinha de Luz, The Home of Chico Xavier em Pedro Leopoldo, and Editora LEP from Uberaba, and Candeia distributing the books. We had the simultaneous interpretation with Língua Franca that helped us spread the knowledge and get the support of the interpreters. Clarissa Tadeu, Denise Tipulo, Felipe Pazello, Felipe Santos, Kátia Morgado, that's with us today, Lilian Braga, Sonia Mendes, and Bruno Soares. They have supported us in a voluntary way with the interpretation of the meeting. So my deep thanks to all of you. Thank you so very much. The floor will be with Carlinhos now. Would you like to say something else, Baccelli? No?
Nossa gratidão, muito obrigado.
Thank you once again, and hope to see you soon.
Até o ano que vem.
Se Deus quiser.
See you next year.
Nós agradecemos a todos os que
We
compartilharam
would like
conosco este momento
to thank
dos
all of
anos
those who cooperated with us,
e que possamos
all
nos preparar
the spreaders of the gospel in the world, and may we be prepared for the second world meeting of Jesus' friends with Chico Xavier and his legacy. And it's going to be the 15th national meeting.
Estaremos nos preparando
So now we will start the preparation for the next one.
O ano que vem é o 15º.
Next one, it's going to be the 15th national meeting.
Nós agradecemos a todos.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience with our technical issues, but we are here stronger to be united next year in the same Christian ideas. We will read a May message psychographed by Chico Xavier. The title is Smile. Wherever you are, do not forget to smile, simply because it's a sublime offer of your soul. The smile is the agent that neutralizes evil and poorly spoken prayers. It suppresses the spreading of darkness. With a smile, you will extinguish rage, closing the door for the fire of cruelty. Putting on a smile, you will sow the seeds of hope, raising the souls that fell down to the shade so they can come back to light. At home, a smile is the blessing of peace in the fireplace of trust. At work, a smile is silent music that fosters cooperation. In the world, a smile is a call for friendliness. Smile at difficulties, and they will become the help you need. Smile at a cloud, and even though it might become tears in your eyes, your crying will be comfort from heaven, impregnating the fields in your heart. The hopeless do not cry for the solution of the enigmas of suffering that persecute their destiny. Instead, they beg for a smile of love to renew their strength so they can move forward along their tormented way. And truth is, if the hungry and the naked cry for food and shelter, they expect from you, above all, a warm smile of understanding that will calm their hidden wounds. Do not condemn those who have fallen into the abyss of violence and crime. Offer them a gentle smile of fraternity that restlessly helps so they can go back to the good path, renovated. Smile, work and learn, help and love, always. Remember that a smile is the dew of charity, and that the beginning of a new day is God smiling at us every morning. The author is May, and it was psychographed by our beloved friend and brother, Francisco Cândido Xavier. Thank you for your company. We wish you a wonderful closure for your Sunday. May we always rest in the peace and the light of Jesus. God bless us all. One last message that I forgot to share. We also had the support of Spiritist Society in Romania. They also broadcasted us live. Thank you all so very much, and see you next year.